Level 1. Friend of the club. You're not in the club. Nowhere close. But you know a guy. Maybe you fixed a member's Harley at your shop. Maybe you grew up on the same block as a patched rider. Either way, you've made yourself useful. And that's enough to get tolerated. You show up to their parties. You buy the support merch, the shirts without the death head, because you haven't earned the right to wear that. You drink at their bars and keep your mouth shut. One night, a patched member pulls you aside. You want in? You nod. He doesn't smile. Show up Thursday. Don't be late. Level 2. Hangaround. Now it starts. You have permission to be around the club, but you are nothing. Nobody calls you by your name. Your job is to keep your mouth shut and do what you're told. You stand outside the clubhouse door while patched members talk business inside. Rain soaking through your jacket. When they come out, you hand them beers and smile. You wash their bikes. You run their errands. A member insults you in front of your girlfriend. Every instinct says swing, but you don't. You stand there and take it. The second you snap, you're done. Level 3. Associate. A member sponsors you. He stands up in front of the chapter and puts his name next to yours. If you embarrass him, it falls on him. The club digs into your past. They talk to people you grew up with. If you've ever cooperated with law enforcement, even once, it's over. The tests get harder. A member hands you a bag. Hold this for a few days. Don't open it. You take it. You don't ask. And you ride. Thousands of miles. If you show up on anything that isn't a Harley, you can turn around and go home. Level 4. Prospect. The chapter votes and hands you a bottom rocker. Your state. A small MC patch. That's it. No death head. No top rocker. You are a maybe. Your life is no longer your own. A full patch member calls you at 3 a.m. to pick up his bike from a ditch. You go. The president tells you to guard the clubhouse all night while everyone else sleeps. You sit there. You wash bikes. You drive the van on runs. You eat last. You speak last. Every patched member in the room outranks you. They're pushing you to find your breaking point. Some prospects last 6 months. Some last 5 years. There is no set timeline. And if you quit, you hand back every piece of club property. Every patch. Every pin. You walk away with nothing. Some guys get kicked out for talking too much. Some for not showing enough dedication. And some disappear because they turned out to be working with the feds. That last one doesn't end with a handshake. Level 5. Full patch member. The vote has to be unanimous. Every single patched member in your chapter has to say yes. One no, and you're done. But they all say yes. The president hands you the vest, the top rocker, the death head, the winged skull, the most recognized symbol in the outlaw motorcycle world, the bottom rocker. 3 pieces. You have 9 days to get the death head tattooed on your body. Men who treated you like garbage for 2 years are now hugging you, calling you brother. You sit in church now. Doors close. Phones go off. You hear everything. The finances, the plans, the politics, the beefs with rival clubs. But membership has rules. You ride a minimum number of miles per year. You attend every meeting. You pay your dues. And when the club needs you, it doesn't matter what day it is. You show up. The outside world shifts around you. Cops pull you over because of the vest. Old friends stop calling. But inside the club, you have brothers who would die for you. And you'd die for them. Level 6. Nomad. Most members belong to a chapter. They ride in a specific city. They answer to a specific president. Your bottom rocker reads something different. It says Nomad. You don't belong to any single chapter. You belong to all of them. Trouble in Arizona? You ride to Arizona. A chapter in Texas needs backup. You're on the highway before sunrise. You roll into towns with no local ties, deal with the problem, and leave. Nobody knows your face. You live out of saddlebags. Your home is whatever clubhouse takes you for the night. You break down on a desert highway at midnight. You fix it yourself. No regular crew, no permanent address. The nomad life is for the guys who can't sit still. The guys who'd rather ride 10,000 miles a year than sit in the same clubhouse every Thursday. You answer to regional officers, not local presidents. You're above the chapter politics. You are the club's shadow. Level 7. Sergeant at Arms. Violence has a manager. That's you now. The chapter elects you as Sergeant at Arms. You are the enforcer, the cop inside a club that hates cops. Before every meeting, you sweep the room. You check for recording devices, hidden phones, anything that doesn't belong. At parties, you scan the crowd for undercover cops, rival gang members, anyone who shouldn't be there. If a fight breaks out, you handle it. Fast, quiet, no scene. Inside the club, you enforce the rules. A member shows up late to church, you fine him. A member disrespects the president, you pull him aside and explain the situation. And you don't use gentle words. A prospect steps out of line, you correct him. Hard. When a rival club disrespects your territory, you deliver the response. When someone owes the club money and won't pay, you show up at their door. Carry the club's weapons to events. You know where every piece is and who has it. The sergeant at arms is the most feared man in the chapter. But you answer directly to the president. He gives the orders, you execute them. You carry the weight of every hard decision, and it ages you. You're the one who does what others won't. Level 8. Road Captain. The run is 300 miles, 30 bikes, 3 states. You planned every mile of it. Before the club rolls out, you ride the route alone. You check for construction zones and speed traps. You find gas stations that can take the whole pack at once. You map out the formation. President leads, officers follow, full members next, prospects in the back. On the day, you ride at the front of the pack, right behind the president. If there's a hazard, you signal the group. If a member breaks down, the whole pack stops. Nobody gets left behind. When 30 bikes are rolling down a highway in formation, one mistake causes a pileup. One wrong turn puts the club in hostile territory. You know which towns are friendly and which ones have cops that'll hassle the club just for passing through. You carry maps, you carry spare parts. You plan for rain, police, rival clubs, everything. The road captain doesn't get the glory. Nobody talks about the guy who planned the gas stops. But every smooth ride, every run where everyone makes it home in one piece, that's because of you. Level 9. Vice President. The president trusts you more than anyone in the chapter. That's why you sit to his right. When he's in the room, you support him. Even if you disagree, you never undermine him in church. That happens behind closed doors. Never in front of the brothers. When the president isn't in the room, you are him. You run the meetings, you make the calls. A member gets arrested at 4 a.m., your phone rings first. A rival club sends a message. You receive it. You manage the officers, the sergeant at arms, the road captain, the treasurer. They report to you. You settle the small beefs. You manage the egos. You keep the peace inside the club so the president can focus on the bigger picture. But everyone knows you're the heir. When the president steps down, gets locked up, or can't ride anymore, your name is the first one on everyone's lips. That means ambitious members are watching you. Some want your seat. Some are whispering to the president that you can't be trusted. You have to be loyal enough to serve, but strong enough to lead. One slip, and you're back in the ranks. Level 10. Chapter President. The chapter votes. The gavel is yours. You sit at the head of the table during church. Every man in the room looks at you before he speaks. This chapter is your kingdom. Every decision runs through you. Who prospects? Who gets patched? who gets cut, which businesses the club works with, which rivals get dealt with, and how. Your vote breaks every tie. Your word is the last word. But you don't rule like a dictator. You listen. You let the officers speak. You let the members vote. The club is a democracy. But you shape the agenda. You control the temperature of the room. A member can't make rent? You figure it out. A prospect gets jumped by a rival gang. You organize the response. The feds are building a RICO case against the chapter. You call the lawyers, and you prepare for war. The politics never stop. Every cop in the county knows your name, your bike, and your address. Your phone is tapped. Your house is watched. Your own members are always testing boundaries. Your personal life crumbles. Relationships fall apart because the club always comes first. Your family stops pretending they understand. But when you lead that pack down the highway, 40 Harleys thundering behind you, the road stretching out to the horizon, you understand why you gave everything up. Then one Thursday night, you're sitting in church and your sergeant-at-arms pulls you aside before the meeting starts. We've got a problem. One of the prospects has been talking to someone. He won't say who, but a member spotted him in a parking lot with a man in a government-issue sedan. Your blood runs cold. You've seen this before. You know what comes next. Warrants, wiretaps, indictments. You look at the room full of brothers waiting for you to start the meeting. You sit down. You pick up the gavel. You don't say a word about it. Not yet. Not until you know exactly how deep it goes. Level 11. National President. There is one man who sits above every chapter, every officer, every patched member in the entire country. That's you. You don't deal with bar fights and broken down bikes anymore. You deal with empires. Dozens of chapters, hundreds of members, thousands of associates and support clubs flying under your banner. When a chapter president can't solve a problem, it lands on your desk. When two chapters are at war with each other, you settle it. Your decision is final. You decide which territories the club expands into. You approve new chapters. You negotiate truces with the banditos, the outlaws, the pagans. Every handshake is a treaty. Every disagreement is a potential bloodbath. The ATF, the FBI, the DEA, they all know your name. You have lawyers on retainer in every major city. You don't communicate by phone. You don't send emails. You speak in person, face to face, in rooms that have been swept for bugs. You travel constantly. Chapter visits, national runs, international meetings. The Hells Angels exist in over 30 countries, and the leaders of those chapters look to you. But the throne is cold. You trust almost nobody. Rivals want to see you fall. Ambitious presidents within your own organization think they could do better. The FBI would love nothing more than to put you in handcuffs on the evening news. And that thing with the prospect, it wasn't just your chapter. The feds had guys inside 3 chapters across 2 states. You find out on a Tuesday morning when 12 SUVs roll up to the clubhouse before sunrise. Doors come off the hinges. Members dragged out in their underwear. Wives screaming. The news helicopters are already circling. Your lawyer calls you 20 minutes later. They got warrants for 14 members. RICO charges, conspiracy, racketeering. Your name is on every document. You sit in a room by yourself. The phone keeps ringing. Chapter presidents from across the country wanting to know what happened, wanting to know what to do. You answer every call. You give the same instructions. Say nothing, call your lawyer, destroy nothing. There is no retirement from this life. You ride until you can't ride anymore, until they lock you up, or until they carry you out. You started as a nobody, a kid who washed bikes and fetched beers and stood outside the door hoping someone would notice him. You pick up the phone again. Another chapter president. Another panicked voice. You take a breath, you steady your voice, and you deal with it. Because that's what you do. That's what you've always done. Watch this video next.